Hey, what's up, everyone? Raging Gold Negro here, having way too much fun as always. And today I'd like to cover the what I would call the Monazi excuse when you get called out on being a piece of shit. But I was only following the orders. Yeah, that was made famous by concentration camp guards of all people, because when the Allies won and then they started tracking down these concentration camp guards and everyone who had anything to do with the Holocaust, a lot of them pretty much said, "Hey, I didn't want to do it. I was just following orders. If I didn't do it, me and or my family would suffer for it. I had to do what I had to do to look out for my family." And for what it's worth, I can actually respect that attitude. I mean, you do what you got to do to take care of yourself and your family. I understand. If I was in your position, I've never been in that position, so I can't judge you. Maybe I'd do the same thing. Maybe I wouldn't. But if you choose to go that route, if your idea of doing what you got to do to protect yourself and your family comes at the expense of somebody else and their family, then you need to be aware that once they find out and once they have an ability to retaliate against you, they probably will. And just like how I can understand why you did what you did, I can understand why they did what they did, because I'd probably do that too. Again, I mean, if somebody threw me under the bus to save themselves, and then I found them again later and was in a better position than them, you bet your fucking ass there'd be some payback going on. And I'd fully understand too. It's like, I know why you did it. You had to look out for yourself and your family, but you really fucked me over. So now I'm getting some fucking payback, bitch. And the reason I bring this up is because it applies to two current year situations. One of those being with the SJW comic industry here in the West. Now that the industry is going full blown pencils down, canceling things left and right, a lot of these people who had no problems calling for the cancellation of Ethan Van Sciver, John Malin, your boy Zach, everyone in Comicsgate effectively. Oh, if you associate with Comicsgate, you're an alt-right Nazi. You deserve to be homeless. You should never be employed again. And there were people that you could clearly tell were just saying what was expected of them so they don't have a target painted on their own backs. But those are the guys that just made like one or two one-off comments and then they shut up. But the guys that were like going hard, like Donnie Cates is the perfect example. Not just because he recently tried to beg Ethan to help him out live on stream, but at first the fans really liked his work. And then he got into a fight with some shippers, and the SJWs in the comic industry started to notice him and were about to come down on him. So in order to save his career, he decided to call Comicsgate a hate group and do all the usual shit. But he didn't stop there. He's been going hard against them for like 2 years straight now, after all that shit went down, and to the point where apparently he's one of the more hysterical anti-Ethan people in the industry. But now that his industry is collapsing while our industry is thriving and he wants to come here and steal a piece of this pie, now suddenly it's like, maybe we can talk about it. Maybe we can have a truce. It's like, I think we could come to some agreement if we talk about it. And he didn't flat out say it in public, but I'd be willing to bet money that in private, as he's reaching out to people, he's probably telling them, like, I was only doing what I had to so I could keep my job. I was only following the orders. That's probably what they're saying. It's like, it's not my fault. I didn't do nothing. Never mind that I was calling for you to be homeless just a few days ago. I didn't really mean it. No. Now, I just did what I had to do to keep my job. That's all it was. And even if that's true, I say, let the dice land how they may. Let fate sort them out. I'm not going to attack these people, but I sure as fuck ain't going to lift a finger to help them either. Especially since there are way more talented people who've never fucked me over who could use my help. They're going to get the help first. And then once every single talented person who's never fucked me over and can use the help has been helped, and I have any left over, I might throw you a scrap or two. But something tells me we're never going to get to that point. So you can fuck off. Yeah, so these guys, don't listen to their fucking sob stories. If they were more than willing to sacrifice you to save themselves, you owe them nothing. Let them reap what they've sown. Let them deal with the consequences of their actions. And I'll say this again. If I was in their position, I may have done the same thing too. But I could completely understand when, if that backfired on me in the long run, why the other person may not be so happy about it. I'd at least get where they're coming from as they as they help karma bitch slap my ass. And another group of these people, since we're in the middle of the beer virus, is the panic buyers and the hoarders. Now, I've already talked about the scalpers. Like, fuck those guys. Like, everybody hates scalpers. But let's talk about the legit panic buyers and hoarders that are buying out entire store shelves specifically so they can sit on it, not so they can resell it, but just so because they want that security. You know, I understand that too. Especially, you know, when you look in the news and you can see that, oh my God, everything's selling out. I better buy like 1,000,000 times more than I'll ever need just in case. I got it. But just like that meme where it has the anime girl is hiding under the desk from a fucking Terminator, and the Terminator is people with unwiped bums, and the anime girl is people who hoarded all the toilet paper. I understand that too. Because, and it's, no, toilet paper is easy mode. Fuck toilet paper. That umbrella guy brought up a really damn good point where he was talking about baby formula. Baby formula is the only thing babies can eat, at least if their mothers don't breastfeed them. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean, shit. Like, now you get a chance to suck on some titties, man, that baby's great. And he or she is living it up. But why would you want to deprive them of that? I don't get it. But anyway, that joking aside, the only thing babies can eat is baby formula. So when you panic buy the entire fucking store stock of baby formula, you're literally starving other people's children. Because now other people can't buy food for their kids. And if their kids are starving and they found out that you hoarded all the baby formula, do you expect even the slightest bit of sympathy when they come for you with the pitchforks and the torches? You're not getting any sympathy from anybody. Not the mob, not from me, nobody. If you do that shit, again, I understand. You got to do what you got to do to look out for yourself and your family first. But if that comes at the expense of someone else and their family, you can't cry about it when they're not too happy about what you did and they're looking for a little bit of fucking payback. You better be prepared for a fucking ass whooping at the bare minimum, and they're probably going to take all your shit too. You got to be careful. So in the end, I'll just give you guys a little bit of advice. If you do hoard shit, don't tell anybody. Because, I mean, people like me, I mean, I keep a rotating stock of canned soup, for example. So I have like a few months worth of food on me at any time. And as it's getting close to expiring, I just eat it and buy another one next time I go to Walmart, right? But to the outside observer, I would look like I'm one of those panic buying hoarders. Like, oh, it's because of you. You bought up the entire store stock, so I can't have any. It's like, actually, no. I've had some of these for like 2 years, thank you very much. But they're not going to listen to reason. But either way, the point I'm making here is I learned this lesson from one of my friends who actually lived through the Bosnian War. His family knew shit was going to hit the fan, and they had food to last them a long time. But the trick was making sure the neighbors didn't find out, because their asses would get raided. Now, there was other people who stockpiled stuff, but the neighborhood quickly found out who had the food. because they were the ones that built up fucking like these massive barricades and walls and shit around their houses and storage. And everyone realized, hey, what are they trying to hide in there? They clearly have something worth taking there. So everybody then raided these well fortified houses, found all the food, all that good shit. And my friend's dad was smart. He was sitting there like, you know what? We haven't stockpiled enough food, but we need to play this safe. So they made sure to not stand out. So his family, they did nothing more than their neighbors did, like maybe set a guy up by the front door with a gun just to deter potential looters or robbers. But they didn't like barricade themselves or anything like that to indicate that they have enough supplies to outlast a fucking siege, basically. And then they also made sure that while they were eating enough to survive, they made sure to only eat enough to survive. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but if everyone's low on food, all your neighbors look like they're from Ethiopia, but you're still 300 pounds, that's a little bit of a fucking giveaway right there. So because my friend's dad was so fucking smart, they survived the war effectively unscathed. Nobody in their family starved to death. Everyone was well taken care of. Yeah, they were a little bit thinner by the end of it, but they ended up okay. And if you're stockpiling shit, that's what you got to do. Because as soon as the whole neighborhood finds out you got the supplies, not only are they going to try to guilt you into sharing it with them, but if they think you hoarded it and you panic bought it and you're the reason they couldn't get any, they're not going to be all too happy with you, and they may exact some extra revenge, if you know what I mean. So you got to understand these different attitudes and how people think and feel in these situations if you want to be able to prepare for them. Because otherwise, you're going to be the guy who's about ready to be burnt on a fucking cross saying, but I was only following the orders. Yeah, you don't want to be that guy. And that's all I got to say, guys. Thanks for listening. Oh man, I am so excited to tell you guys right now that finally, after about a year of build-up and shilling, we have launched Blade Devil on Indiegogo, and so far it is doing so well thanks to awesome people like you. If you haven't backed it yet, then please check the links in the description and check out Blade Devil on Indiegogo. You will not be disappointed. Looking forward to seeing you there.